Hello and welcome to Plus TV Africa. I am Benga Aborowa with the news on the hour. As the country awaits the arrival of the French President Emmanuel Macron, the presidency says he will meet with President Buhari at the State House in Abuja on arrival. Tomorrow, he is expected to commission the new Alliance Francaise headquarters in Lagos and pay a visit to the new Africa Shrine as part of preparations. Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Ministry of Transportation, Dr. Taiwo Salam, announced that traffic will be diverted with restricted movement from noon to midnight in Alausa, Africa Shrine and Agidingbe areas during his visit. Our correspondent, Lakpe Banjo, brings us an update on efforts to ensure that traffic is managed during this visit.
So we're here at the Awolowo roundabout. In fact, this is the beginning of the Agidingbe axis where it will be blocked off for Emmanuel Macron's arrival scheduled later today. He is scheduled to arrive in the next couple of hours, begin his journey from here. On my left is the Ikeja airport. And in fact, behind me leads to the African Shrine where he'll be scheduled to arrive at 7 p.m. today to explore more about the tourism and culture of Lagos. Just up the road is the new Africa Shrine where the road has actually been blocked off. In fact, the road has just been regraded and refurbished, especially upon Mr. Macron's arrival. LASMA officials are working tirelessly to make sure there's a seamless progression of cars and not a huge roadblock, as it were, and they seem to be doing a very good job so far. I'm Lakwe Banjo reporting for Plus TV Africa.
As it is, officials have cordoned off parts of Agidingbe and Alausa, and motorists are advised to take alternative routes. The National Assembly has sent the revised Electoral Act Amendment Bill to President Muhammadu Buhari for approval. A presidential source says the submission is coming 3 months after President Buhari rejected a previous version sent to him for assent. The president stated that he was concerned that the new sequence of elections, including the bill through Section 25, subsection 1, which he said violates the provisions of Section 72 of the 1999 Constitution, which empowers INEC to fix dates of elections and see its conduct in all ramifications. Those concerns have now been addressed by both chambers of the National Assembly in the new bill. The amendment bill, when signed into law, will be known as the 2018 Electoral Act. Its provision will guide the conduct of the 2019 general elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The People's Democratic Party says it will not accept any attempt by any party to rig the forthcoming Ekiti state elections. The party also alleged that the All Progressive Congress is working with some electoral officials and security agencies to compromise the process. The PDP National Publicity Secretary, Kola Ologbodiyan, said the people of Ekiti State will at every polling unit and collation center in their respective areas across the state to protect their collective will. With the Ekiti State elections less than 2 weeks away, the two major political parties in the country continue to accuse one another of manipulating the process. The trial of Olisa Metuh, the former National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, has resumed at the Federal High Court in Abuja. The trial judge, Justice Okon Abang, today ordered Channels Television to view a recording of its morning program where Metuh's health status was discussed. After watching the video, the trial judge said he has no jurisdiction to determine if their statements are prejudicial to the case before the court. The prosecution counsel had told the court that one of Metuh's counsels, Ben Umosu, who featured on the program, made comments about a matter pending before the court. Metuh has been on trial since 2015 for allegedly collecting $400 million from former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki. The governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, has stated that contrary to widely held suspicions, the anti-open grazing law is not responsible for the crisis between herders and settlers in the state. Ortom maintains that the claims by the Nigerian Defense Minister, Mansour Dan Ali, on June 5th, that the law is directly responsible for the violence does not match realities in Delta, Edo, Adamawa, Plateau, Kaduna, Zamfara, and other states where there is no such legislation. The governor added that the anti-open grazing law is good for governance and will not be repealed. Malam Garba Shehu, the senior special assistant on media and publicity to President Muhammadu Buhari, has said that politicians who no longer have access to loot public treasury are the cause of the killings across the country. Shehu stated this while speaking with newsmen in Abuja on Monday. He said the competition for power has become fiercer because the stakes are very high and President Buhari is being attacked because of his stance against corruption in the country. He further said the president was lucky because he had a judiciary which was transforming itself and was on the same page with him in fighting corruption. And on foreign scene, former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak has been arrested by Malaysia's anti-corruption task force. This as investigation continues into how billions of dollars went missing from a state fund he founded almost a decade ago. Charges include embezzlement and bribery with government money and are expected to be handed down early Wednesday morning. Iraq has ordered the execution of terrorists on death row. Iraq's Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi has ordered the immediate execution of all convicted terrorists on death row. His office, in a statement, described the move as a fair punishment of terrorists on death row whose sentences have passed the decisive stage. The statement said a dozen ISIS members have already been executed. News agency Reuters in April reported that hundreds of prisoners have been sentenced to death by Iraqi courts since Mosul and the surrounding area was reclaimed from ISIS. Austrian Chancellor Sebastian Kurz and other cabinet members said it was prepared to take extreme measures to protect its borders if a German coalition deal on immigration goes into force. Austria currently borders Italy and Slovenia to the south. It was referring to a deal reached late on Monday between German Chancellor Angela Merkel's Christian Democrats Union and Bavaria's Christian Socialist Union that settled a row over immigration, which previously threatened to topple the German government. A woman held for the murder of 8 babies in England, as described as a professional healthcare worker, has been arrested on suspicion of murdering 8 babies and attempting to kill 6 others at the Countess of Chester Hospital in northwest England. A spokesman for the Cheshire Police, Paul Hughes, said this arrest is a significant step forward in an ongoing investigations into the deaths of 17 newborn babies between March 2015 and July 2016. He was however, quick to add that there were no set timescales for conclusion of the investigation, but assured that the police remain committed to carrying out a thorough investigation as soon as possible. And in business, 49 of the 55 members of the African Union have signed the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. The president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, made the statement in Nouakchott during the closing ceremony of the 31st summit of the 55-member African Union. According to reports, the AU said the deal is expected to improve the economic prosperity of the African nations by eliminating barriers to trade such as tariffs and import quotas, which will enable free flow of goods and services amongst its members. However, Nigeria and 5 other countries failed to sign the deal. Nigeria's excuse for not signing the deal is to allow time for broader consultations and input from stakeholders. The 49 countries, however, signed the deal. Up next is entertainment news with Tokumbo.
And in entertainment, American actor, comedian, writer, producer and director Ben Stiller has been appointed a Goodwill Ambassador by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. The announcement was made by the agency on Monday following his visit to Guatemala, where he assisted inhabitants who had fled their homes as a result of violence. Stiller said in a statement that was dispersed by the agency that the families and children he met experienced fear and violence that is beyond imagination. Stiller's height in his career came in comedy roles like in the movies Dodgeball and Zoolander, and has shown his support for the UNHCR since 2016. Ed Sheeran has been slammed with a $100 million lawsuit by a company which owns 1/3 of Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye, and claims Ed jacked Marvin on his hit song Thinking Aloud from the melody to the rhythms, drums, bass line, tempo, syncopation, and basically everything. Producer and legendary R&B musician Babyface has backed Ed Sheeran, saying it's a stretch to say Ed Sheeran's Thinking Out Loud was a copy of Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye, as only the chord structures are similar according to him, and there is more to a song than that. According to the experienced singer, who was thinking out loud, he doesn't think it's a copyright infringement in any way. Nigerian actor Ignis Ekwe, popularly known for his roles in Everyday People, Cockcrow at Dawn, Igodo, and Behind the Clouds, has died. He passed away after a brief illness on the 2nd of July 2018. His daughter Susan Ekwe, also known as Harmony, confirmed the death of her father. The actor was an indigene of Fuga in Edo State, where he had his education and graduated in theatre arts at the University of Benin. He has also worked not just as a consultant for UNICEF, but as a lecturer at the Mass Communications Department at Auchi Polytechnic in Edo State. Former Big Brother housemate Uriel Opruta has been appointed an ambassador for a shapewear organization called Shapes by Mina. The reality star posted her photos on social media saying hello and acknowledging the shapewear company. She also said she wanted to thank her mother for teaching her the value of hard work, patience, and honesty. And that's it on entertainment. The very best in sports is coming up right after this.
Hello and welcome to Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. Moving straight to Wimbledon, what's going on right now? British number one, Johanna Konta, reached the Wimbledon second round by beating Russian Natalia Viliantseva in a 7-5, 7-6, 9-7 win. And Johanna Konta, who was the semi-finalist last year, this 22nd seed needed her 6th match points to beat the 21-year-old. And for Johanna Konta, she faces Alice Cornet or Dominika Sibokova next round. And for the male version, Juan Martin Del Potro also made his way into the second round of Wimbledon in straight sets against Peter Gochok, 6-3, 6-4, 6-3. And moving over to transfer news, Socrates Papastathopoulos has signed for Arsenal from Borussia Dortmund as he becomes Unai Emery's third signing since taking over from Arsene Wenger in May. And the Gunners have already signed defenders Stefan Lichtsteiner on a free transfer from Juventus, while Germany goalkeeper Bernd Leno has also agreed to join the Gunners from Bayer Leverkusen. The 30-year-old Greek defender will link up with former Dortmund teammates Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Henrik Mkhitaryan. According to reports from Germany, there's an initial 60 million euros deal. However, there are bonus payments structured into the deal, which could see that rise to 20 million euros. And Socrates has signed a 3-year deal with Arsenal, keeping him tied to the club until 2021. England and Arsenal defender Callum Chambers has signed a new long-term contract at Premier League club side Arsenal. And the Gunners announced the news this morning. And the new manager, Unai Emery, said that he's delighted that Callum has extended his contract, knowing that he played an important role for Arsenal last season, and he is glad he will be a part of his plans this season. Callum Chambers joined the Gunners in 2014 from Southampton, and he made a total of 83 appearances for Arsenal in all competitions, despite being sent on loan to Middlesbrough during the 2016-2017 season. On his return from English Championship side Middlesbrough, the 3-cap England international became an important member of the Arsenal squad as he made 24 appearances for the team. And Zlatan Ibrahimovic has reluctantly welcomed the king in what seems to be his territory. He now knows he will have to share the Los Angeles limelight after LeBron James confirmed his move from Cleveland Cavaliers to the Los Angeles Lakers. And the move to LA Lakers was announced by LeBron James's agency, and the deal is a 4-year deal worth $153.3 million. And Ibrahimovic immediately took to Twitter to welcome the new king of the West. And he said, "What's a king to a god? We're about to find out." And Kobe Bryant also welcomed LeBron James to the team's family, and he has told his former rival that he would extend his support to him in the same way that Magic Johnson and the legends did for him and his family. And Kobe Bryant also said that James's arrival has pushed the Lakers back to front and center again and the top of the conversation as a destination in the NBA. And that's it on Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko. Back to you, Benga.
And that concludes the news at this hour. I am Benga Aborowa. Do have a great day.